Hello and welcome to Change Health. Good afternoon, and we are so grateful you have joined us this afternoon. We are going to be talking about something that I believe has an interest for most Americans, and that is we're going to be looking at pizza. Now, pizza for a lot of people is a favorite food, but we're talking about being the most health conscious as we can possibly be. So, what are some of the things that could make pizza unhealthy? Well, I want to tell you that this particular dish has been the cause of a lot of people to have a lot of problems. But before we get into that, let us say a word of prayer, because whatever is shared here in Change Health today, we want you to consider it, share it, and be determined that I want to be healthy for Jesus. Let's bow our heads. Thank you, Lord, so very much for this opportunity to talk about how we can eat some of our favorite foods, but yet still be on the road to being healthy and making right choices. So guide us, bless everyone who will listen to us live, and also the replay. We ask that we will really take this information and believe it and change and go higher in our decision making. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, pizza. What are those things that we find on pizza that's not quite the best for us? Well, I want to tell you that many people are suffering from heart disease, heart trouble, heart complications of all sorts. And one of the main reasons is because they have plaque or artery clogs. And what are some artery cloggers? Well, number one, cheese. Yes, cheese. And what is the main ingredient for pizza? Cheese. So we want to show you a great alternative to making pizza without the worry of cheese clogging anything in your body, especially your arteries. What's another thing that clogs our arteries? That we want to make sure that we have a good substitute in order to still enjoy pizza. And that would probably be meat. So we have a substitute meat that will help you to feel healthy, guilt-free when you eat a pizza that is made that the healthiest you could ever make it. But some other things that may not be included in pizza that I also want to encourage you to stay away from, try and make a transition out of, and that's milk and cream. Now, we all know cheese is made with milk. We all know that some things that are placed on pizza are also made with milk. Did you know that some pizza sauces have milk in the ingredients? So we have to really watch our ingredients. We have to really watch our intake of high fatty foods that would cause us to not be in the best of health. Now, with that said, I would like to show you a very easy, healthy pizza you can make. As a matter of fact, we as a family, we sometimes get together, make our own pizza, and we feel good about it. Even Jael, she has her own pizza pie crust, and she builds her pizza the way she likes it. So we're going to start with our pizza crust, okay? So this was just purchased at the grocery store, just a regular pizza crust, already kind of pre-cooked, but you will have to cook it after you set your stove to about 375, getting it preheated. You want to get started with building your healthy pizza. Now, some pizza crusts do not have as much wheat and bran that we would like to have in our pizza crust. We can go ahead and digest. You are more than welcome, and you should make a habit of sprinkling a little wheat germ or wheat bran on your pizza crust so that you can have the best fiber you could possibly have, the best amount of fiber you can possibly have for your pizza crust. Now, after you consider a good pizza crust, and maybe you know how to make your own pizza crust with your own dough, that's absolute the best. And maybe one time for Change Health, we can share with you a way in which you can make your own pizza dough. But we have a pre-made pizza dough right here. The next thing we want to do is we want to get our pasta sauce or pizza sauce. This is a pasta sauce, a tomato sauce, no sugar, because you do have to watch your sugar intake as well. And a lot of pizza sauces or pasta sauces will have a lot of sugar. Did you know that sugar turns into fat when it enters into your body? So we want to make sure that we're watching our sugar intake as well. So as I take my pizza sauce and I spread it around our pizza crust, I want to make sure that I get it nice and even. For me, when I am putting my sauce on my crust, I like for all of my crust to be covered fully with sauce. Why? Because I don't like to get any dry pieces of crust without any sauce that has made the crust nice and moist. So here we have our crust. We have our pizza sauce nicely spread throughout. And already we're thinking health consciously. We're thinking, how can I make a pizza that is guilt-free? And so here we have an example. And I think one of the Change Health, Christar showed you how to make the lasagna, and she used the same pizza sauce or pasta sauce. This is Ragu simply, and it's no sugar added, 100% olive oil. And we know that olive oil is a very good oil to use when we're cooking. So we're trying to build our favorite food while staying nice and healthy. So just a little bit more sauce for good measure. Now, what I like to add next to my pizza, and one thing I love about pizza, and we find this out with our family members, everybody likes to build their pizza differently. So with me in building my pizza, I like to now go to my meat substitute. And you don't have to have a meat substitute. You can definitely have a pizza with absolutely no meat. As a matter of fact, those who are trying to transition from being a regular meat eater to a more simpler diet, just know that meat substitutes are meant to be temporary. They're not meant to be a part of your diet for the rest of your life. We want to get to a point to where we're totally relying on fruits, vegetables, and grains to keep our bodies healthy and strong. But for the sake of building a pizza that we like, let's go to our meat crumbles. Now, these crumbles are primarily soy protein. So it's a vegetable soy protein base, and they're just crumbled up. Very healthy for you. And so I'm going to neatly spread, and as much as I like. I know Jael does not like a lot of crumbles on her pizza. She just likes it kind of spread throughout. I like a lot of crumbles because I want every bite to have some type of texture with my veggie meat here. And you can have, there are so many different brands out there. The brand that we like to use most is Gardein beefless ground. And when we use Gardein beefless beefless ground meat, gotta take your time and say that. This is really, really good. Now, if you're one of the people who like some beefy crumbles, there are a lot of brands out there with some much thicker pieces and a lot more texture. But just go ahead and research and go out and see what's available out there. But either way, all of them will be better than eating what we know to be not so good for our health. Okay? So now we have our crumbles nicely spread throughout. And this actually is a whole pizza pie. That is mine. So all of our family, we make our own pizza pie so we can divide it in half and eat it for later. Sometimes I decide to eat mine throughout the week for lunch. Okay, next I'm going to build my vegetables, okay? Now, let's talk about why do we want to put vegetables on our pizza? I want to start with tomato. Well, you just put tomato sauce on your pizza. Well, I want to add a little bit more tomato to my pizza. Why? Because tomatoes have something in it called lycopene. And lycopene is a very, very great nutrient, vitamin to add to your diet. It gives you vitamin D. It gives you vitamin K, potassium, vitamin C. So many different antioxidants that tomato has power packed inside. So here I am building my favorite food with some very, very helpful ingredients. So here are my tomatoes. And tomatoes, of course, are a pizza's best friend, because without tomato sauce, it really wouldn't taste like a pizza. Now, what's next? Next, I want to give a little bit more color to my pizza. And I'm going to add green peppers. Well, what does green peppers have to do with being healthy? I'm glad you asked. Green peppers, like tomatoes, they give you lots of antioxidants, vitamin C as well. So that's why I feel good. I feel happy when I'm adding these nice, freshly cut vegetables, not frozen, not from a can, but freshly cut from the produce department onto my favorite food, pizza. Now, green peppers also, want to make sure you know, they enhance immunity. So your immune system needs to stay nice and strong. And so green peppers are meant to build that immunity so that you can stay as healthy as possible. So wow, already we have a nice pizza pie that is power packed with nutritious ingredients to when I take my first bite, I don't have to wonder whether or not I'm going to suffer later. This is going to be a very good pizza. What's next? Well, I also have here olives. Now, these are black olives. I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, I didn't eat a lot of green olives. As a matter of fact, I would only see them in the jars, but I would never, ever eat them. My family, we never ate green olives. So I always wondered what the differences were between black olives and green olives, even though there are so many different variations of olives out there. But I found that black olives are not salty at all. Now, they're full of oil, and that's where we get our olive oil, but they're not salty. But when you take a bite of a green olive, you instantly will taste the salt content. So green olives are much more saltier. So if I wanted a salty content to my pizza, I probably would do a mix of black olives and green olives. Also, olives are a very good source of vitamin E. Why do we need vitamin E? We need vitamin E for our skin, our hair, our nails, all of those things the system, the whole body system dealing with the skin, hair, and nails. So here we have our olives. And already I am just piling my pizza. It's already looking good, looking delicious with nice, healthy ingredients. Now, what's next? Oh, I have my spinach. Now, with my spinach, I have wholly spinach here. Why do we need spinach? We try and eat spinach every day. Why? Not only because it's green, and anything green in nature, just like you've been watching, if you watched last week's celery, great vegetable to juice. The week before, wheatgrass, juicing wheatgrass. Now I want to show you that spinach is awesome. As a matter of fact, I know I talk about Jael a lot. That's because she's our youngest and she's still learning the value of eating healthy foods. Jael would not eat spinach. She just said it's yucky, it's nasty. But just recently, she came out and announced, Mommy, Daddy, I eat spinach now. So for some reason, the light bulb clicked, and now she sees that spinach is not her enemy, it's actually her friend. So now she's going to get the benefits of spinach, which would be the B vitamins, B2, magnesium, iron, folate, all of these wonderful things that will help you feel nice and healthy, nice and strong, build brain cells and build your energy levels. And I know I'm one of those people who I need a lot of B vitamins. As a female, as a person that's always using their hands, I need to strengthen my muscles. I need to strengthen my tendons. And I know at one point I suffer from carpal tunnel syndrome. And carpal tunnel syndrome is when you have a pain in the tendon in your carpal joint, which is like your wrist joint. And there's a pain, there's a tendonitis that kind of gets set up in that joint. And one of the things that I was told I needed was a surgery. Well, surgery is not an option for me. I want to know what is the healthiest way I can get my tendons back working again. And I found out it's the B complex vitamins. And so spinach is one of those vegetables that you can eat and get the right amount of a right B vitamin source into your body that you will need. And so I try and include, at least I try and include every day, a little bit of spinach, whether on my salad or during dinner or on my sandwiches for school. So here we have a nice set of, now I did bring, because I thought Chris was going to be on with me today, but here's an onion. Now, I didn't cut it because I don't like onions on my pizza. But let me give you a big encouragement to add onions on your pizza as I cut the onion and add a little bit, because why tell you about it if I'm not going to try it myself? So when it comes to onions I found is also good for your immune system. And when you eat especially fresh raw onions, which I prefer my onions cooked, but for this, I'm going to eat it raw just because it is the best. As you can see, I am not going to cut a lot. I'm going to cut just enough to sprinkle on my pizza and give it a nice taste. I'm sure all of you who like to cook, you know that when you add onions to your food, that flavor is about to come out. It's going to come out in a very real way. So I'm very, very grateful for onions. So why do we need onions? Onions, I have found, contributes to a lot of good things. But recently I found that onions actually contributes to lowering your blood sugar. Now, I never heard that before, but in researching onions and the benefits of onions, I found that if you're having problems with your blood sugar, you should include a lot more onions in your diet, as well as anything else that's going to boost your immune system and help lower your sugar intake and how your body is processing sugar. So there we go. This is not a norm for me, but we are talking about being the healthiest. And because we're talking about being the healthiest, I'm going to be the first to set an example. Now, you say, I see all these nice, healthy vegetables on this pizza. Where's the cheese? Well, we do have cheese, because what's a pizza without cheese, right? Here's a nice mozzarella substitute, cheese substitute that I'm just going to sprinkle all throughout my pizza. I don't have to worry about whether or not this cheese is going to raise my blood pressure. I don't have to worry about whether or not this cheese is going to create plaque on my arteries. I don't have to wonder whether or not this cheese is going to clog my arteries. This is a type of cheese to where it has healthy oils that it was made from, healthy ingredients. And this is a brand called Simple Truth. It's a plant-based, non-dairy mozzarella shredded cheese. But there are so many different options out there now that you can choose from to be able to build your pizza. Maybe you're one of the people who like to put different types of cheeses on your pizza. There are so many different options out there. The only thing I want to encourage you to do is try the transition. I know that it's not easy to make a transition from eating a way that you're used to a different way of eating. So take your time, but also be courageous and step out and try something different. Make it the way that you believe will be enjoyable for you. Now, I want to show you something else. Now, I wanted to tell you also that butter is also at the top of the artery clogging list. This is a butter that we have found. It is delicious. And I want to show you that it's almost gone. Why? Because it is so versatile. We use it in so many different things. But this is actually Country Crock's plant butter with almond oil. And just like a lot of butter substitutes that are vegan, they're usually pretty pricey. This one is not. They have made this particular ingredient very affordable. Now, where am I putting this? I'm putting it around my crust because I want the part of the crust that is still exposed without any sauce or ingredients to still have a bit of oil that I can taste and enjoy when I bite into my crust. Now, I'm going to admit I forgot to put it on my crust before I start building my pizza, but it still works just the same. Okay, so I'm putting it all around my exposed crust. If you would like to, go ahead and dress your crust with a nice plant-based butter, and you will taste the difference when you bite into your first slice. Now, with that being done, I have to top it off with some Italian seasonings. This is basil. So I'm just going to sprinkle some basil across the top. We're building our favorite food with some very, very healthful ingredients. This is rosemary. Rosemary gives it that meaty taste. So even if you don't add meat to your pizza, add rosemary to your pizza. It will even smell like you have some type of meat ingredient on your pizza. And this is oregano. And a little bit of garlic. Or I could cut up fresh garlic and put it on top of my pizza. But I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle some garlic powder on the top. And the very, very last ingredient I want to add, and I'm going to use it very, very carefully because this is not something that is necessary, but I definitely like to add it because I taste the difference whenever I don't add it. This is pink Himalayan salt that I'm just going to take my 2 fingers and get a pinch, and I'm just going to just sprinkle it around the top of my pizza. And I'm going to do it one more time. And we are good to go with our pizza. Now, we want you to be in the best of health. We want you to make better health choices. One of the things God has given us is our bodies. You know, the Bible tells us that our bodies are not our own. They were bought with a price. So therefore, glorify God with your bodies. Now, some people say, well, if I eat healthy, I got to give up my favorite foods. Well, not today. We're showing you a very, very great way to keep your favorite foods from becoming ancient history. You can now turn what you used to eat into something that you enjoy eating, and you don't have to wonder whether or not it's going to make you sick later. So here we go. Here is our final product. Our final pizza is going to go in the oven. And once it goes in the oven, we're going to enjoy a slice. And the rest of the family will build their own later on. But right now, I am so happy to be able to share with you how to build your very own veggie pizza.
This is the pizza pie. There we go. in all of its glory. Let me not make sure it falls. But did you want to cut a slice? You can cut a slice so we can get a side view. Okay, but there's the finished product. Again, it's very simple to make. Any kind of crust that you would like to use, vegan preferably, whole wheat best. But if you want to, you can use that recipe. And if you do, drop us a line, drop us a comment, let us know that you tried it, take a picture of it. Because also, we're also later on, Tara mentioned this, we're going to try and do another one. We'll show you examples of gluten-free options. So if you want those kinds of crusts as well, show you how to buy some and also how to make some. We'll do that at another time, another place. But